My name is Briana, and my opponent is Vivian. The claim that I will be responding to today is the consumption of milk is bad for your health. My opponent's secondary claims are: 1, the consumption of milk is bad for children; 2, the consumption of milk is bad for women; and 3, the consumption of milk is bad for men. Okay, so my response to secondary claim 1, that consumption of milk is bad for children. Vivian's evidence is solely based on non-academic sources such as notmilk.com and Wikipedia. It is inappropriate to use these sources in a claim of fact speech because the information that is provided is based on assumptions. The information given by the sources lacks any expert testimony and is therefore considered to be invalid. Vivian does not use the appropriate reasoning for a claim of fact speech because she bases her argument on probable cause instead of accurate and credible evidence. She states 3 subclaims. Each one is more of an assumption rather than a fact. Point A, consuming milk can result in sudden infant death. Point B, consuming milk can lead to enuresis or bedwetting. And point C, consuming milk can cause acne. Using the word can in a claim of fact speech limits and weakens the argument because it takes credibility away from the sources that were used to support the claim. Vivian poses the subclaim that milk can result in SIDS, or sudden infant death syndrome. However, what she failed to mention was that very little information is known about the causes of SIDS. The definition of SIDS is the sudden and unexplained death of an infant younger than 1 year old. It is a widely known fact that a mother's breast milk contains the exact nutrients that is needed for the first few months of life. According to a government website on Kids Health, most cases of SIDS happen between the ages of 2 to 4 months, which is between the age bracket where the infant should have been given breast milk and specialized formula. Enuresis, or bedwetting, on the other hand, is not caused by milk. According to Robert J. Broughton, Assistant Professor of Neurology at McGill University in Montreal, Canada, bedwetting can be attributed to genetics, abnormalities in urethral valves, and abnormalities in spinal cord, as well as the small bladder. Response to secondary claim 2, the consumption of milk is bad for women. Again, Vivian's evidence is strongly based on assumption rather than fact. She states that milk is bad for women because A, consumption of milk can provoke breast cancer; B, consumption of milk can cause ovarian cancer; and C, the consumption of milk can increase menstrual cramps. Vivian does not offer sufficient factual evidence to thoroughly support her subclaim. She states that the consumption of milk can increase menstrual cramps for women, but according to a study done by Susan Jacobs, who is the clinical director of the Metabolic Bone Center at St. Luke's Roosevelt Hospital, recent evidence has demonstrated the efficiency of calcium in the treatment of PMS symptoms such as menstrual cramps. The majority of women who consumed 1,200 milligrams of calcium a day for 3 months reported suffering from fewer backaches and less cramping. Again, Vivian does not use the proper reasoning to support her subclaim that consuming milk is harmful to women because she commits a fallacy of accent by posing the hypothesization that breast cancer is the 5th leading cause of death for women. In fact, Alzheimer's is the 5th leading cause of death for women. She fails to mention the statistical insignificance of her claim. When compared to the leading causes of death for women as charted by the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, cancer is ranked below chronic respiratory disease, below accidental death, and slightly above pneumonia, leading to the conclusion of these approximately 41,000 individuals who have breast cancer, the proportion in question is significantly smaller than her embellished argument states. Vivian claims that women in Asia have a lower chance of getting breast cancer. What she failed to mention was that Asia is generally healthier than the United States. According to Nancy Krieger from the Department of Health and Social Behavior and the Harvard Center for Society and Health, cancer is partially considered a disease of affluence. Nancy Krieger states that the disease of affluence are diseases which are thought to be a result of increasing wealth in society. These diseases of affluence are estimated to be 2.7 times higher in more industrialized areas than in less industrialized countries. Response to secondary claim 3, the consumption of milk is bad for men. Vivian uses 2 main subclaims. A, consumption of milk can cause testicular cancer, and B, consumption of milk can cause prostate cancer. Under point B, she states that there is so much more calcium than vitamin D in milk that the extra calcium drains vitamin D from the body. This, however, is far from the truth. According to the Office of Dietary Supplements, vitamin D is essential for promoting calcium absorption and regulation. Statistically, the suggested ingestion of vitamin D is lower than that of calcium. Once again, Vivian fails to use proper statistical evidence to present adequate support for her claim. She does not state proper evidence to lend significance to her claim that milk can cause testicular cancer. Although this cancer is the most commonly diagnosed, she does not show to what extent this can be attributed to milk. Vivian stated that due to the consumption of the high amounts of calcium in milk, the body is drained of vitamin D. Well, Vivian, I disagree. The two act constructively. Vitamin D is a base, meaning that it helps the body retain calcium. The depletion of calcium is based on acidity in the blood. This makes your body turn it into calcium carbonate. This new compound is released into the blood to lower its acidity levels. By having a healthy amount of vitamin D and calcium in the body, one is able to retain essential vitamins and minerals. Although Vivian posed a sturdy argument, her claims seemed to fall through due to lack of appropriate evidence. Consumption of milk is not bad for children, consumption of milk is not bad for women, and the consumption of milk is not bad for men. Thank you.
All right, well, we'll be posting that under our recommended examples of refutation speeches. That was very good. I thought you did a good job following the advocate's claims, explaining each point briefly as you got to it, explaining what your challenge was, presenting more authoritative proof on your position, trying to demonstrate how the proof that you presented explained away the issue that the advocates did, and you did that as each of the points came up pretty clearly. I thought that you got prematurely on that third point on the discussion about the vitamin D and calcium relationship. It seemed like you made the inference a little bit early before you gave the explanation. Once you gave the explanation, though, the first part of the argument was clear. That's the only quibble I have. Otherwise, everything was labeled really well, and you did a good job to kind of contrasting the information that you're presenting to the information that the advocate presented.